getting it.
These are the tales, the freaky tales. These are the tales that I tell somewhere. These are the tales, the freaky tales. These are the tales that I tell somewhere.
Sugar Delight.
I was just about to say that.
Friday night. What's up with ya? Man, it's a good Saturday evening. You know what I mean?
We back, baby.
We in mid-February. It's Black History Month. But for our purposes, we got 365 days of Black History on this Why You Bullshitting show. So don't get the thing twisted. We got our producer in the booth. Big Deep, High Kai 92, holding it down. We got my loved one, my big brother.
90, dog.
90, I'm cat. 90. Check me, dog. Check me. We got my big brother, KC Adams, straight out of Boise, already the Havens Court. What's up, KC?
RB Coach 13 on Twitter. You know where to
follow him. He got something good to say. We got the man, the myth. You know what I mean? LC Lil Change. He had a 2-4 no snow by way of Fresno, putting shackles on him. What's happening, LC? They can't get open.
Hey, great evening, fellas. Let's make it happen. We got some good stuff going today.
Hey, and my guy, I've been connected at the hip, and we ain't never had a Robin about us. It's been Batman and Batman since about 90. We go way back. Jay Bird in the house. What's up, JD?
What's good with it?
Man, I can't complain about a thing, and if I did, wouldn't nobody listen.
That's right.
We back in the building once again. More specifically, we in 5 different buildings, but we coming together like butt cheeks after a fart. Let's get it, gentlemen. What's happening? Man, the Super Bowl is tomorrow. We already gave our predictions last week, and ain't no cognitive dissonance popping here. We ain't got no late bet entries. So I don't think our predictions have changed since a week ago. But what I want to talk about is we got 2 black quarterbacks starting tomorrow for the first time in history. In our lifetime, we saw 2 black head coaches, Lovey and Tony Dungy, get down in the game. And my question to you, brothers, is this something we want to celebrate, or is this something we want to say, fuck y'all about, because it shouldn't have taken this long for us to get these good men at the forefront? What you say, JD?
We got to celebrate it. At the
end
of the day, having 2 black quarterbacks in the Super Bowl, black quarterbacks need to be synonymous with winning. You feel me? So at the end of the day, that's the move that we making. And yeah, that's what it's going to be in the near future. If you want to get it done,
get you a brother.
We show up and show out every time.
Ladies, head coaches, if you want to get it done, get you a brother. L Boogie, talk to us about the thing. What do you think? Should we be celebrating these 2 black quarterbacks, or should we be cussing at somebody?
Oh, we celebrating them. We're going to celebrate them, man. Okay. You know what I mean? So we can do all the other stuff on the side, but we're going to celebrate that. Got to.
Okay. KC, you in agreement there?
After the game, we need to cuss somebody, because we still, in 2023, we still talking about the first blacks anything. You know what I mean? I don't want to put a damper on the spirits, but yeah, we shouldn't be talking about the first black anything still this time, right?
Hey,
but
see, I'm with you. I'm with you on that matter. Go ahead.
At the same time, hey, we got to celebrate. Hey, but as soon as when that buzzer go off, hey, let's get after somebody.
For me, I'm going to pay homage to them 2 brothers, but I constantly hear, I heard it with Mike Vick, I heard it with Randall Cunningham, I've heard it with several other quarterbacks that they revolutionized the quarterback position. And I, for one, say bullshit. I think they revolutionized the thought of white men. That's my personal opinion on the matter. They didn't revolutionize the quarterback position. You just got smart enough to realize an athlete gives you more options than just a statue with an arm. And as long as I got my brother Eric Bieniemy the best OC in football over the last 5 years not getting jobs, but a guy named Joe Judge gets a job. As long as Brian Flores is fired for having the same record Mike McDaniel had, I want to pay homage to
this. Let me say this too, though.
Mm-hmm.
There's all kinds of different black quarterbacks.
All kinds.
And that's what we celebrating. And not all black quarterbacks is going to be Mike Vick. Not all of them going to be super athletic, running, all of that. You know what I mean? Like, just like all white quarterbacks don't stay in the pocket. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, we celebrating this, but there's a difference between Patrick Mahomes and Jalen Hurts. And we're going to celebrate the differences between those two black quarterbacks tomorrow, because too many times they see us as a monolith.
Yep.
Right? Like, well, we seen one, we seen them all, they all the same.
Mm-hmm.
And so the
Real
celebration is in them two brothers' differences and all the different quarterbacks, just like Bryce Young coming out of Alabama this year is not the same as CJ Stroud coming out of Ohio State.
Yeah, it's not the same as Geno Smith.
100%.
You know, who we also got to celebrate.
100%. So that's why I'm saying we're gonna celebrate the differences and the diversity in those two brothers' game.
I love it. I love it. I love it. We're gonna move on, gentlemen. Recently there was a 4-team trade in the NBA, and we ain't gonna front. We all from the town in this room, so there's a degree of partialness. We got Laker fans. We got Laker fans and Warrior fans in the room.
Yes, absolutely.
But I think all of us would love to see GP2 with his roots. So we just had the 14 trade, and it just came out late that Gary didn't pass a physical. And I got a problem with that, but I want to hear y'all speak on that matter first, because I really got a problem that this black man didn't pass a physical. And we talked about this earlier today. Anybody want to weigh in before I give my 2 cents, fellas?
Well, I got a question. Now, are they going to retract that offer? Does that mean everybody go back?
From what I've read today, they're not.
Well, the Warriors got up until tomorrow to pull the plug on the trade. Mm-hmm. More than likely, they going to keep it, but they going to get something else out of Portland for that whole shit they pulled, right? Yep. But to answer your question, G, you know, the real know what time it is, but we got to force these people that's looking through sports with a rose-colored lens to really recognize what they see. You know what I mean? When you get out of high school, it's a business. And it's a bit, and this is where players aren't seen as people, they're commodities.
Yes, indeed.
So what the Portland Trailblazers told Gary Payton was, we breaded you out, but we don't really care about how you feel. We need to get our money's worth, no matter what.
He's an asset.
Told KC, not you, KC. My bad. Portland told Gary, fuck your couch. And I felt, JD, you talked about it a couple of weeks ago. The sport was football we was discussing, and it was helmets and shoulder pads. And I feel like his humanity was disrespected.
That's right.
As you mentioned, he's a commodity to them. He's not even an employee. He's a commodity to them. And y'all all know, everybody in here know, when I had cancer at the start of it, the doctors, all they wanted to do was give me painkillers. They didn't want to diagnose. I don't know that GP's experience in Portland was any different.
See,
I don't know that they wanted to diagnose.
Listen. My daughter played college basketball.
Yes, sir.
You know how many times we caught team doctors in lies? Team doctors work for head coaches.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, the Portland Trailblazers medical staff is their number one ambition is not his health. It's to get Portland's money's worth.
Talk about it.
So if they can give you a cortisone shot, right?
Bang.
Shout out to my man who invented it. You know what I'm saying? What's my guy name? Percy Levine Julian.
Percy Levine Julian.
The cortisone shots. But what I'm saying is that's a fixture in professional and college sports. And parents and players have to understand it's not about what the team doctor think. It's about how you feel.
Say that.
And if the doctor ain't giving you the advice that align with how you feel, you got to go get a second opinion, because they do not have your best interests in mind. They will give you cortisone shots. They was giving that man Toradol shots. They doing everything they can to mask. That's all that is a mask. We're going to mask the pain. We're going to temporarily address the inflammation, but we're not going to address the cause of the inflammation.
You ain't lying.
To get you out there so we can get our money's worth.
And that's consistent with the drug industry in our culture. Everything is about comfort and taking away pain. It ain't about curing. It's about keeping you on that dope so that you can continue, whether it's you or your insurance, to pay for the dope.
Put the camera back on me right quick.
Put it back on Jay Bird.
You see what
$40 million slave. Don't read that book.
They get mad.
Don't read that book.
Bill Roden, I read it.
It's all in the books. You just gotta take your time and read them.
Sit down and read it. I done read the book. The book is incredible.
It's gotta add that to my repertoire then. That's what it sounds like.
Yeah, no question. You need to. While you bullshitting, you need to be reading that book. You know what I mean?
Hey, what do you think about the dude Carlos Correa, who went through all those physicals, the baseball player?
Exactly.
You go through all these physicals. If one team doctor says you're not well enough to play, what you think? All of them gonna just everybody lying? I know all of us grew up with parents who asked that, right?
Right. Everybody
lying, right?
Well, you got to think about it. It's just like when Michael Porter Jr. was coming out of college.
Yeah.
Some team doctors had assessed his back one way. Other team doctors assessed it a different way. So unfortunately, it's not league driven.
Yeah.
It's you dealing, and that's a tragic thing when you at the mercy of the competency of your healthcare provider.
Yep.
When Greg first got diagnosed, his cancer wasn't even diagnosed as cancer.
Right.
Same thing. When my daughter had hip impingement surgery, bruh, they told her that she had a herniated disc in her back. A completely different body part.
Horrible. That's terrible.
Come on, man.
That's terrible. And I remember my sister cussing out the doctors, and the doctor said to my sister, "Man, we don't use that language in the office." But in between cuss words, she was instructing them to do the specific medical procedures that they were supposed to do with the proper nomenclature. I said nomenclature, and she just slapping them up. But
SAT word.
It was at that point that they couldn't say nothing about the cussing because she told them what to do and she had them diagnose it. Man,
right.
Oh man.
Right.
Man,
so again, like JD said, the main thing is get your second opinion.
That's
because
right.
those people work for the head coach, man. They will get you out there no matter what. So you said a gem right there, JD.
It's facts. Because
like a racehorse.
At the end of the day, your coach, your college coach, your pro coach, gonna discourage you from getting a second opinion, but they can't stop you.
Yep.
Well, what's the old saying? Oh, you can't make the club if you're in the tub.
Right.
Can't make the club if you're in the tub. Right?
I love it. Who ride the vocabulary?
Give it real skill.
That's what's up. So it's at this time of year, gentlemen, that we turn our heads to the playoffs. We're getting ready to get into postseason prep basketball. My man Lou Ritchie up there at Bishop O'Dowd. Shout out Lou. Struggled a bit this year. Didn't have the dogs he normally has in his brand new palace. But he'll be moving on to the postseason. Our homie Leroy Hurt up at Oakland Tech got a bunch of dogs, and them young ladies on the ladies' side is really gonna make some noise in the postseason. And then we got my homeboy Frank Knight down there at Monroe. Shout out Frank. And really the field is wide open. We got a week of league playoffs, and then we going straight into the North Coast section. Jay Bird, speak on it for a minute.
Yeah, I mean, up here in SAC is going down. D1 is loaded this year. The favorites, obviously, you got Folsom Boys, you got Modesto Christian, you got my man Fred Wilson over at Endercom. They've been doing their thing all year. And then, our good friend of the show, Denard Wilson.
Shout out Denard, what's happening?
The good bros, Grant High School, they always gonna be a threat. So, and then on the girls' side, I mean, it's wide open too, really. You got like I said, you got Folsom, you got St. Mary Stockton, you got
Archbishop
Antelope, McClatchy. That's the D1 slate for the most part. But so what happens is the NorCal teams play, and then the Sacramento San Joaquin section. And I can't forget Vanden in Division 3. They a powerhouse down in Fairfield. Shout out to Jake and Allison on the girls' side, boys and girls. You know what I'm saying? My man Mike is the boys' coach. They get it done year in and year out up at Vanden. But the San Joaquin section and then NorCal section, them two have they playoffs, and then they come together and they play against each other for the right to represent Northern California in the state championship.
There it is. And is it Sacramento, the state championship? Is that where it is?
I'm not sure where the state championship is. I got to find out. Our section championship is at Golden One.
Yeah, okay. Golden One.
It's at Golden One. I'm not sure how NCS is doing it this year, but it should be a lot of fun basketball. It's a fun time.
Man, parents and everybody that's out there on the internet checking us out, man, go check out some of these prep basketball postseason games. The intensity gets lit, and these young athletes need your support and need you in there riding. So go get in there and get with them.
So what I want to add to that too is the first 2 rounds in the section playoffs is win or go home. If you lose in the first 2 rounds, your season is over. If you make it past the second round in sections, you get invited back for the state playoffs.
NorCal, yep.
For NorCal.
That's how that works.
So the first 2 rounds, when they get that first game, it's pretty predictable, but that second one is for all the marbles.
A little bit.
You know what I mean?
A little bit.
Yeah.
Also, round about this time of year, and I think there might be some conflicting opinions here. This is time where the football players be getting involved in 7-on-7s. And I know in the Bay Area, you got several reputable programs. You got KT Prep, you got Gunner Sports, you got Silly U. JD, I know you've got more up there in Sacramento. I want parents out there to vet these coaches like you vet anything else you put your kids in. 7-on-7s can be phenomenal in terms of building timing, building cohesion, further working a skill. I'm also a supporter, this is just me, myself personally, of your child playing multiple sports. I don't want your child at some podunk 7-on-7 tournament in Redwood City the same weekend as a De La Salle or Arcadia track meet when you could be getting faster, putting times on paper for coaches. Now, I'm not knocking 7-on-7. There's some good coaches out there who really put their instruction down. The other thing about 7-on-7s is be careful what school you put your kid into and then what 7-on-7 team they compete for. These 7-on-7 teams become transfer portals. So you have talent moving to other schools because they had a great experience with some young folks in the springtime. And I'll leave it at this before I turn it over to the rest of y'all to weigh in. Ain't nobody ever got no scholarship for playing football in the draws. They get scholarships for what they put down on the field, and football's played in pads. So we have to be judicious. We have to be really careful about what 7-on-7s we're involving ourselves in competing in.
Let me play the devil's advocate on this one.
Fuck you.
When it comes to 7-on-7, first of all, the way rules are set up, especially in football now, they're offensively driven. I'm going to go over to the defensive side of the ball.
Okay.
I've seen more guys lose scholarships because that linebacker is supposed to cover this running back in 7-on-7 outside on the wheel route when, you know, it's an obvious mismatch and guys get exposed in that kind of deal when, you know, there's no quarterbacks not being rushed. There's no blocking. Everybody has all day to sit there and throw the ball. So it's not real football. You know what I mean? When it comes to that, when it comes, like I said, me as a person, if I play defense, there's not a whole lot I can gain from being on the 7-on-7. If my coverage skills are that good, okay, we can see that. Everybody's going to know that. And I'm taking my time to track to get faster, working on my body, everything else. Like I said, there's nothing more you can do. You know, like I said, I've seen too many guys where it works the other way as far as defenders go there. Because linebackers, I mean, really, how many linebackers you know can cover? High school linebackers can cover a back out of the backfield, especially on that level when you go and get the best back from whatever school they had. And with no quarterback with no pressure. Yep. I mean, come on, man. This is, I mean, 7-on-7 is ridiculous. You know, we all know the NFL rules are set up. Nobody wants to see the 85 Bears and the 2000 Ravens anymore. Everybody wants to see, they want to see scores 43-48. They want to see Patrick Mahomes. You know what I mean? So when it comes to that, you know, like I said, I love 7-on-7 for the workout and the time aspect and everything else. But if you're trying to use that to go somewhere, a lot of times, you know.
But you know what?
Yeah.
KC, I think just you made a great point. And so all you parents and players out there, really make sure you know what position you getting put into. You know what I mean? Like, it ain't just enough to be on the team.
Yeah.
You know, just to be at the tournament, because you could be taking one for the team and not getting put in the position for you to shine.
Yeah.
You know, well, we just gonna put you at linebacker right now. And you ain't ready for that. Or that's not the kind of linebacker you are, and you know you a safety, but they got another safety. Like KC said, you know, that could be your ass, Mr. Postman.
Yeah, and actually for on a cornerback side of the game, you get way more out of playing basketball, keeping somebody in front of you without reaching. So whatever sport it was, I played it. So 7-on-7 is cool if you ain't got nothing else to do, but playing that basketball and keeping your feet square when somebody trying to, you know, take your angle off. If you can keep your feet square, you can reroute any receiver you can. It don't matter because he got to come to you. And so if you learn that playing other sports like basketball. So I get everything you can. Like you said, put stuff on film. You should be running track to get your body right. If it's baseball, hand and eye, that's the center field turn. On as a safety, man, if you play in the outfield, come on, man, you're increasing your skill and your assets. Man. So that's just what it is.
No question.
My thing is, I'm not trying to kill 7-on-7 football, but don't pin your hopes and dreams on it too, though. You know what I mean?
Right.
At the risk of everything else, like Cook said, you can show everything else you can do on the football field in other sports. Like me, when I look for punt and kickoff returners, guys who can turn their hips and get squared. Obvious outfielders in baseball. You know what I mean? Turn around, run, get your feet under you, get your feet set to catch it. It's just like catching the ball in the outfield. You know, I mean, all that kind of stuff, it transfers. The other, you know, skills that you get from other sports transfer in. So, I mean, don't sell it short that while you working on track or while you doing something else can't help you out with football, though.
7-on-7 a showcase. Make
So just
sure
think
that
what
you do the showcase.
just think what the shot put is for offensive linemen. You know, you getting your feet work, you sinking your hips, you learning explosion. So you know what I mean? Like you don't take the javelin and none of that stuff. You may be a big boy, but you can still create value for your school. And they see him, well, wow, he ran track, he did the discus, he did the long jump. You know what I mean? So all that does matter.
No question. Well, we on here on Why You Bullshitting. We like to discuss some of the current events that goes down, but the reason why we're here is to really and truly call out the bullshit. So that's what we doing. Is we calling out the bullshit. KC, you was gonna speak on parent agendas and student preparation. Lace our tennis shoes a little bit about what some of these agendas be when they're not actually supporting the kid, although they think they are. They might be living vicariously through them, and that ain't the best.
So each of us has coached before. When a high school coach gets hired, he's supposed to be entrusted by the administration and the parents to coach the team. Okay, I'm looking at too many instances now where at some schools, whether mostly private schools, where the parents want to push their agenda or want to have some say-so in what's happening on the field because their name is up on the building and they're some big-time donor. Too many coaches around here this year have been let go because one parent had a complaint about what the coach was doing or disagreed with what the coach was doing. Now, I'm of the mindset where, you know, I can't come to your house and tell you what to do. You shouldn't be able to come on my field, come in my classroom and tell me what to do. I've been entrusted by this school to coach this football team. Just because your name is on the wall or on some brick on the charity donor wall doesn't mean you have some say-so in the play calling. And if you were one of those people, chill at the public schools because you part of the PTA and you ran the snack bar all year doesn't mean your son has to be the starting quarterback. I mean, hell no. You're trying to tell me, you know what I mean? Your time at the snack bar don't equate to playing time on the field. Or your son needs to be the starting quarterback, even though we got Arch Manning over here who's 6'5" with a rocket arm, you know, whose dad probably didn't contribute anything, but he helps us win more. Hell, I mean, we trying to make the team win. And we trying to do what's best for everybody, not your particular kid. There's a particular school, I won't name the school right now, but I see it happening where we have parents where a parent who has pro pedigree basically blindsided the coach and took over the head coaching job. And I'm seeing it happening in basketball at the same exact school right now. I'm seeing it happening. That parent, the basketball parent, has, you know, NBA pedigree, and he's at all of the games hovering over the coach, and you see him in the stands every time they make a mistake. And you can see the whole game played out because I've already witnessed it once at the same school when I was on the staff at the school. I've already seen it, and I'm hoping it doesn't happen, but like I said, you can see the game coming from a mile away. But as far as that goes, parents, if you trust them, trust us to do our job. Our job is not to pick on your kid. Our job is to get this team and get everybody, put them in the best position to win, not to further your agenda.
Show up to practice every day and join the staff, parents, if you want to be involved with who plays, when they play. You ain't been at practice all week. You ain't seen your son getting his ass whooped by the competition. So game day, don't be up there with a loudmouth. At the Cali Classic a week ago that I coached at, we had one young running back who wasn't getting as much time as he wanted to. His mama was so profane and disrespectful to the coaches. She wasn't at practice that week. So she was at a few of the practices, but again, she didn't set the depth chart. Well, when the game was done and she full of profanity, she was approached very politely. Ma'am, you might have just cost your son some money. Because what we know is if you're going to cuss the high school coach out, you probably going to cuss the college coach out too. And they're not having it. So this woman, in all of her love for her child, with no idea what public decorum should be, inevitably threatened the possibility of her kid getting money. And I'll speak to one more. I had a student at a very wealthy high school I've taught at, and the student was not eligible to play because she had multiple Fs. I pulled the student in. The soccer playoffs were cracking. I had a few words with her of encouragement, told her to come by office hours. She dissed me for office hours. She came by for nothing. And I told her, young lady, if you don't make a decision, a coach will. Man, them razor blade weaponized tears. Karen don't start crying when she grown. Them tears came out. Her daddy showed up at the school, and the dean called me in the office for how I engaged this child, and all I did was show love. Yet, father was wealthy. Mother, ironically enough, got caught on a wall on January 6th at the insurrection. So her dumb ass, the bitch was climbing up a wall. So understand that this, we dealing with folks. We love our children, and our love for our children is not logical. But we also dealing with folks who ain't logical in many of their other endeavors. So look, parents, don't have your own agenda. Support your kid and know that the village that's around your kid, once you vet them, let them do their job.
Okay,
you know what? I think that's dope. Sorry. Your story, for me, it's not in your case, but most of the times the coach got to take some blame.
Yep.
And here's why. You know who your parents are. And so you have the opportunity to go to those parents and explain to them what your philosophy is, how you handle things, and what your expectations are. And too many times these coaches fall back instead of just stepping up to the parents. And I've been a parent, but communication is the key, right? At the end of the day, holler at me. Let me know what I can expect, what is acceptable, what I can expect from the situation. And if the coach has the wherewithal, for lack of a better term, I don't want to, because everybody don't have them, to do that, then the program and all the other kids will be better for it. Like when KC, you talk about those parents, those former pros, we knew that former pro was going to have an opinion, but all that could have been checked early.
So check this out. I'm coaching middle school baseball. I get approached after the game by a grandmother. Grandmother says, "Hey, coach." Actually, the athletic director approaches me and said, "Hey, a parent wants to talk to you." I said, "Okay, cool." I go talk to the parent. Parent was the grandmother. She was like, "Yes, Coach Cook. I bought my son this new glove, new cleats, and he not playing." I said, "Well, our job is to win this game. What I can do, come down to the practice, and you can kind of see, what's going on. Why he playing grab ass in center field and shit." So grandma came to practice. Mm-hmm. So I wasn't trying to embarrass the kid. So I hit him. He's an alpha. I hit him, something through the line. The ball goes through his legs. He runs back. So he throws the ball like I would throw on my opposite hand, like left-handed.
Okay.
Give you one of them, right?
Yeah.
Also, I'm trying to make this a little bit easier for him. I hit him a little pop-up. Boom, right? It go over there, almost hit the boy in the forehead. Right? He gets the ball, and so then I'm moving along. I'm like, get the cutoff man, all that. We doing all that stuff. Man, listen, it comes to find out that the grandmama was a 2-time All-American at Oklahoma State. Okay. You mean uncles never played catch with this boy? Come on, man. It was no time spent. You know what I mean? So, but that's how you handle it. Come to practice and watch your son play.
100%.
I've never heard from her anymore.
So, J Deal, see, one of the things, like the thing I was saying, when people who come, especially when it comes to with the donors, right? The people don't come straight to the coach. They go to the AD and they insinuate, like one particular parent at the school that Greg and I went to, insinuated that she may not put the lights up if her son didn't get more playing time. You know what I mean? You know, that checkbook might dry up a little bit more.
Right.
You know, and I was there for that conversation. I'm like, oh wow.
Hey, you know what you doing there? If that's the case, then you tell the athletic director that you gonna need a couple more dollars because you need to play some more catch with that kid.
It is.
So
There it
since it's about us getting them lights, and you telling me I gotta get that kid ready, I'm gonna need a couple more dollars.
I'm gonna need some more bread.
So it's about over to either you gonna pay me to do it, or you gonna go get your ass a glove.
Yeah.
Right. So how these parents getting down is a great segue. Parents, again, don't have your own agenda. Support the kid, vet the coach, let the coach coach. JD wanted to take a different angle on this, and I just want to give you the flow here on why you bullshitting and what's going on with regard to parent behavior at some of these competitions. I touched on it just a smidge, but I think you really gonna flesh that thing out.
A lot of these adults, man, y'all bullshitting.
Straight lace.
Because you coming into the gym, you coming onto the field, you in the stands, and you making the game more about you than your kids. And we tired of seeing it. If I go to one of these playoff games and I'm going to watch your kids play, I'm not going to the game to hear you and your commentary in the stands. I just saw an incident where a father who had been berating his daughter all year long wasn't even invited to senior night. Wow. I can't even imagine my daughter telling me, don't come to senior night. Like, he didn't even get a shout out or nothing. He spent the whole basketball season berating his kid, berating her teammates, berating the coach, berating the referees.
And his punk ass should have stayed home.
And his ass was told finally to stay home.
Yeah.
And so, you know, it's sad, and nobody should go out the way that this dude went out. Because that's some complete clown shit. But at the end of the day, we're going to see it over and over again. And what I don't like, now, anybody who know me know my kids could hoop. That's what we did.
You ain't lying.
You're not going to meet nobody in the state of California that's going to say my kids couldn't hoop. If they say that, they lying and they breath stink. Okay, my kids, I got receipts. You dig? I mean, you can look, you can go to Max Preps. You can do it however you need to do it. My kids can hoop. Not one time did I sit on the sidelines or on the floor and talk shit about somebody else's kid during the game and put my words, my negative words on a kid. I may not like somebody else's game, but that kid ain't gonna know it. Because what do that do for me to tell that kid or to clown that kid? That's a kid.
Not a damn thing.
And it's too many adults that go into these, especially in hoop. Because in hoop, everybody right there on the floor, you can hear everything.
Yeah.
And you got people yelling out, he weak, she weak. Go by her, go by him. He can't go left, he can't go right. All that's unnecessary. The game gonna demonstrate what the game need to demonstrate. The game ain't about you. The game is about these kids. And if you ain't gave your kid the scouting report by tip-off, that's your fault. Go sit your ass down somewhere.
And be a fan.
We want to see the game.
Exactly.
We not here to hear your Dick Vitale or this shit. I'm tired of it.
I was
because what this leads to is funk.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
Yes, it does.
Because the minute you speak on my kid, I'm about to put these hands and feet on you.
Yeah.
No
You ain't gonna
question.
call my kid weak.
You're
He
not
ain't
gonna
gonna-
disrespect my kid and shame and clown my kid.
Yeah.
Dion remembers this. We're founding a program in Sabrani Park. We're at Castlemont. There's a young whippersnapper head coach, and I'm not going to put his name out there, but the young whippersnapper head coach was feeling some type of way. And he got up on the microphone.
Oh, I remember that.
And he got to disrespecting our players on the mic. And that ain't how we handle business. Well, like when I was as a parent, my older daughter ran high school track. My younger daughter played AAU hoop and played volleyball in high school. And anytime I went to watch them compete, I supported every girl there. The girls competing against my daughters too. I'm never going to down talk them. That don't mean I want you beating my kid. I want you to have a little success. I'd like you to get that ass whooped at the end of the night by my daughter, but I don't want to lay no disrespect down.
Facts.
It came to the point, shout out Chris Lee, I had to send my goon partner up to the microphone to inform this young whippersnapper that if he wanted to get up out of there, you know, and everything be copacetic,
So
he was going to put the mic down. I went ahead and coached football and maintained my class, but I sent two individuals I know who are also professionals, also a little grimy, and I had them have some pleasant words with this young individual coach, and he was able to get off the mic. Don't disrespect these children.
no,
Like, let these children get older. Let these children mature in their respective game. And to your point, Jay Bird, rooting on your child, or if you're a coach, rooting and supporting your kids does not have to involve berating the opponent. That ain't got shit to do with the success of the kids you're supporting.
so
Because the
that's
scoreboard gonna do that. The scoreboard gonna do that.
gonna do that.
Yep.
If your kid is that nice, he or she is gonna be that nice. Period.
Mhm.
Whether my kid is nice or not.
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
stop trying to influence how it's all gonna break down from the sideline.
Exactly.
I'm not feeling that.
Yes,
LC,
sir.
you was gonna jump in here and tell these people why they bullshitting just for a minute. We got me and you to still spit before we out of here. But a lot of kids be bullshitting and they don't know any better. What do we need to share with these young student athletes about what they need to be doing when the game is over, when the season is over, to make themselves the most marketable entity possible for colleges?
Absolutely, man. I think I had somebody pull me aside. You know, I was a test tube baby. Didn't nobody before me do none of this, you know, college stuff. I think one of the things was like you mentioned earlier, Greg, about office hours. Go in there and holler at your teachers during their office hours.
Yeah.
Whether you're borderline CB, guess what? You probably gonna get that B because you spending time you letting that teacher know that you care about this grade.
Right.
Or just drop in on them and just anyway. Just
Right.
do it anyway.
Yep.
You know what? Because you haven't built a resume yet. So guess who's going to be one of the first people that ask you for your recommendations from your teachers and your counselors? So there's just some of the game that I wish somebody would have told me, man. Volunteer your time. You know, do some community service.
Yeah.
So you're competing against everybody gonna have a 3.8. Everybody gonna have a run of 4.5. But these other things that they're gonna look at when the coach is gonna like, okay, well he fed the homeless. He was whatever that volunteer looked like. You're gonna have to sell. You pretty much you're gonna be selling yourself.
But
You
know
can
what?
be selling yourself to a program.
No question.
That's a dope point. And let me add to that,
Please.
because you bring up an awesome point for these kids. Not only, right, do you go in there and holler at your teachers, you know, people who look like us are going to be labeled as misunderstood. And you got to understand that a lot of these teachers are lazy and they not really trying to take the time to get to know you. So you got to go in there and make sure that you get your point across so that they understand, you know, I'm trying to put my best foot forward. And as far as the volunteer part, like LC said, volunteering can be working with the JV or the freshman.
Man.
Yes.
In your same sport. It don't even have to be off campus. It could be you as an upperclassman spending a couple minutes working with the young cats, trying to help them see when you gone, you helping them get ready to run the show.
So let me tell you from a teacher's point of view. I'm telling you, I tell my kids in my class, I got 50. I tell my kids, my smallest class is like 35 kids. Every one of the other ones, 47 to 56. I tell the kids, you know what? Come and say something to make yourself stand out. Make sure I know who you are. I tell the kids that because you got with 47 kids, 300 kids you deal with throughout the day. I mean, what else do you?
I see you, Meech.
What else do you? You got to find a way to stand out from there. But another thing I want to talk on, I'm glad you came up, Cook. When you talk about our kids, we done got into this habit when we come into school dressed any way we want, especially the girls too. They come to school with pajama pants, with bonnets on. We got the boys in pajama pants with T-shirts with holes in them and all that. And yet we have coaches coming in who spot coach. They drop in all the time. And I try to tell these guys, you have to be prepared for when these guys come in. You don't want to come walking in with a blanket around you and pajama pants on, looking like you just rolled out of bed with a pick in your head. I mean,
opportunity knock, but he don't call before he come.
But like I said, I was telling G earlier, I saw the movie Head of State where Bernie Mac and Chris Rock. Bernie Mac made a line in there with Chris Rock when he told him, you got to dress for the job that you want, not for the job that you have. You know what I mean?
Expectations.
You at least look like a student when you come walking in there.
No question.
We got these guys coming in, and some of the guys I'm trying to tell them, dude, you got these leaned in Crocs that you had on for 3 years, and these pajama pants on, dude. Who wants to give you any kind of money looking like what about you right now says I'm going to I'm going to
be representative
on the college
right.
Exactly.
You know
Young men and young women coming to school looking like that. Why you bullshitting? And I want to call somebody else out before we wrap this thing up. I'm going to call out the Golden State, the great state of California, and its systemic racism. And the man at the top, I would love to have a word with good brother Tony Thurman. You spit before, and I've heard you spit, and it sounds good. But I'm a man about the bottom line. And so I got some questions and concerns. As a teacher, I've been teaching for 17 years, and I've been doing my research about who pays what and where. And from my research, I've determined that public school has their education subsidized through real estate tax. Sounds systemic already, because I know that ever since we've been able to buy homes, because they wasn't letting us use the GI Bill at first, I know that we bring property values down, according to white folks. That's what we do. Right. So it concerns me when I go to cities like Oakland and I see property values that are out of this fucking world. I mean, we're 10 minutes from San Francisco, the epicenter of overpriced properties. So our proximity alone means that our real estate has, and I think Jay can speak more to that, but the real estate values in Oakland are higher than those in Sacramento and Stockton, yet
Absolutely.
for some reason, and Fresno, and we only had 6 major public high schools. There's some knockoff high schools here and there. There's some charter schools here and there, but the Oakland public schools had 6 high schools for over 3 decades. And with high property values and only 6 high schools, it's funny that Oakland pays their teachers on the lowest scale in the state of California.
Wow.
Much across the county, real close, and you've got some beautiful homes up there in the El Cerrito Hills, is the second lowest. And I'm just trying to figure out how that works, how our property values are so high, and yet your educators, you can't pay. I look at private schools and I look at public schools in areas like San Mateo, in areas like Mountain View, Los Gatos, MVLG is one district, and they're paying their teachers 6 figures. And yet if you're going to start in a community that serves the majority of Black and brown children, in spite of what the property values are, we're going to start at about half that. West Contra Costa County is talking about a strike, and they're talking about getting a 10% raise. But it's a deficit model that they're operating from. If we're starting at 50 and other schools are starting from 80 to 100, what the fuck does a 10% increase do to a teacher? Now, what happens is the kids become devalued because any man or woman in their right mind, loving those kids or not, are not going to be pimped by the state of California and take food out of their own children's mouths so they can teach or coach, because the coaching stipends in Oakland too, my good friend Casey can speak to that, are lower than the stipends in any other public school anywhere. The high school that Casey is a head coach at, Skyline, and McClymonds, shout out Michael Peters Pool, like they're lucky to have these phenomenal head coaches that happen to be alum from the school. In the city of Oakland, every coach is alum from the school, because them schools don't go out and find the most competitive, qualified coach available, the most competitive, qualified teacher available. They don't do it. They'll underpay you. And if you're looking to make a living serving youth, it's going to be really tough to do so in a city like Oakland, in a place like Richmond, where the state of California has shown us through data that they don't value Black and brown children nor their education, in spite of the property values that are allegedly the sources that fund these schools. So I just got to call the state out, because our children are valuable. Black children are valuable.
If you look at virtually every school in the hood, it don't just have to be Oakland.
Nope.
Richmond, San Francisco.
Say
what G said.
Vallejo.
Virtually every school there, the basketball and the football coach either went to the school or have some kind of tie to the school. And it's a labor of love for the school. It's not because the school went out and actively recruited them. You look at
it's a labor of love for the coach.
Yes.
Yeah.
For the coach.
You look at the Oakland Athletic League, 4 out of the head coaches, 4 out of the 6 head coaches went to the school that they were at. And another one went to an Oakland school. He just happened to go work at another one. You know what I mean? So you got 5 guys who all went to Oakland schools, who all coached there. And
well, the 6th school don't have a coach.
Hold on.
We're not looking for a coach.
Hold on, no. It's not enough just to point out a problem. How do we address it?
The solution is it's got to be made public that this is happening. So when the strike occurs and the union is involved, we can't push for a 10% raise. Fuck you. We're operating from a deficit model. We've got to push for a raise that's bigger than 10% for these educators.
But what you're saying, if I'm hearing you correctly,
yes, sir,
it's not just the teachers' fight.
It's
not. The parents.
Parents got to get involved.
And it's not just kids. And it's not just the high school parents fight. It's the elementary and middle school kids fight, because they're trying to change the conditions under which their kids are going to end up learning in. Yep. Because since that pay scale is so low in the inner city public school systems, right? They can't find enough teachers.
Yep.
Because everybody is looking to go to the Catholic private school, or like you say, in the suburbs where they can get a little more paper, right?
Yep.
So we need our parents and the teachers to understand the most important thing is to attack the legislators who are creating the conditions.
No question.
Like the Tony Thurmans of the world, who is the superintendent of schools in California. California and superintendent of schools. So it's guys like him, but it's also the people that you vote for, your mayor, your city council, the school board. All of them have to be having their feet to the fire moving forward, because it's all of those little races that's impacting the conditions to where our kids are going to school and it ain't enough teachers. So then what they end up doing is having the coach
babysit a class.
So
We
what?
don't even know nothing about the subject. He just in there.
So when we're well, I was telling G earlier, we had to talk earlier, and the biggest thing, Oakland has become a stepping stone or a stair stone to other school districts, where when you come in, people find out if you've done 3-4 years at this school district, they were like, "Oh, you dealt with that? Oh, well, we know you can survive over in this district now." You know what I mean? And we're at the point now where it's not just the content that they teach now. Once they figure out if you're the type that can handle the kids in Oakland, your classroom management, your group management there, then they're like, okay, we can take you over here where it's a whole lot easier, where you can go to Palo Alto, you can go to Mountain View, Los Gatos, go to San Mateo where they got the six figure. Because now they say, oh, well, he got good group management over there. If he dealt with the kids over in Oakland and he still survived to tell about it, you know what I mean? He still survived to tell about it. That means he can handle our kids over here. You know what I mean? But that's where, and Oakland, for some reason, has gotten to that rut where we kind of accept it. You know what I mean? We're like, okay, we're happy to take these 2-3 years till you move on. You know what I mean? Unless you're one of those people who love Oakland like me, and you sit here and you just love where you're at, and you're willing to go through and work through and, you know, deal with the kids that we have here.
So while they bullshitting, we got to come together as a community. Parents, teachers. When we was all students, parents and teachers was lightweight on the same page. Now we got a lot of antagonism between parents and teachers. We got to let that thing go. We got to let that thing go. We cannot be confrontational when we've got a bigger opponent that seems to, by the data, not have no value for our children. We need your help when these teachers strike. Parents, we need you on the picket line with them.
Yep.
That's what it is.
Otherwise, you bullshitting.
And that's what we out here to call out. Why you bullshitting? Once again, hailing from East Oakland, California. Hailing from Vallejo and Sac. We on our way out.
That's how you know you from the town. Anybody who do like this,
they might jack their slacks a little bit, a little bit, pull on your skirt, and let them all know. We did it again. We did it again, y'all. We did it again. Man, appreciate y'all tuning in.
That's the way it is.
Have a fabulous week. Look out for us next weekend after the Super Bowl. We're going to weigh in again and try to win the juice.
Go Chiefs.